On a day in October, a video appeared online. Many people saw it. It was a strange video. The video showed Donald Trump. He is the current president of the U.S., and this is real. In the video, President Trump was flying a jet. He was wearing a crown. The jet had a name, King Trump. The jet in the video did something unusual. It flew over many people. These people were protesting. They were protesting against President Trump. The jet dropped brown liquid on them. This video was not real. It was a fake video made with special computer programs called AI. Millions of people were protesting that day. They were part of something called the No Kings protests. These protests happened all over the country. People were unhappy with how President Trump was using his power. They felt he was acting too much like a king. President Trump shared this fake video on his social media. He shared it just after these huge protests. It seemed like his answer to all the people who were against him. He used a popular song with the video. This event was important. It showed how new technology like AI can be used in politics. It showed how power can be used in new ways. It also made people think about what is true and what is fake. This story will look at these things: new technology, who has power, and finding the truth. It will explore what happens when leaders use fake videos to talk to people. It will show how people react when they feel their leader is not listening to them. This video, with President Trump flying the King Trump jet, was a big moment. It started a new chapter in how politics works. It made many people question what they see and hear. It showed that the fight for truth is becoming harder. This story is about that fight. 2. The King's Jet. The video President Donald Trump shared offered a detailed look at his message. In the short video, President Trump sat in the cockpit of a fighter jet. He wore a gold crown. The jet had King Trump written clearly on its side, a bold statement for all to see. This powerful aircraft soared above an urban landscape, which many recognized as New York City. As it flew, a dark brown liquid rained down from the jet, landing on the people gathered below. This substance appeared to be waste, falling on demonstrators who filled the streets of what looked like Times Square. This digitally created video was very specific. It focused on a known online influencer, Harry Sisson. The video cleverly included actual scenes of Harry Sisson taken from his past participation in No Kings protests in New York. This made the artificial video feel very real and direct. President Trump released this video just hours after a huge national event. Nearly 7 million Americans had taken part in widespread No Kings protests. These massive demonstrations happened in every one of the 50 states. Organizers called it one of the largest single-day protests against a current president in the recent history of the United States. This timing highlighted the direct link between the protests and President Trump's video response. Across the country, 7 million people joined over 2,700 different demonstrations. They marched in large cities like Washington, D.C., New York, and Los Angeles, and also in many smaller towns. These numbers showed how many people felt strongly about the issues. The No Kings movement grew as a direct response to what many saw as President Trump's authoritarian ideas and his big expansion of presidential power. People were worried he was gathering too much control. Protesters carried signs with powerful messages like, "I pledge allegiance, no king." They chanted loudly against what they believed was an attack on the country's democratic systems. The name No Kings was chosen to show their concern about President Trump presenting himself like a monarch and his administration trying to hold all power. The protests were a clear sign that many people wanted to protect the core rules of their democracy. 3. Not the first time. The King Trump video was not the first time President Donald Trump used fake images and videos. Since January 2025, he has shared many pieces of AI-made content on his Truth Social platform. An analysis found dozens of such posts. About half of these were shared in August and September alone. President Trump often uses AI to make himself look like a hero. He has posted images showing himself as Superman, a pope, or even a character from Star Wars. These images make him appear strong and important. He also uses AI to attack other politicians. He has shared fake videos of Democratic leaders like Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. For example, one AI video showed Mr. Jeffries wearing a sombrero and a fake mustache, with mariachi music playing. Mr. Jeffries said this content was racist. Another worrying example was a deepfake video about medbed technology. This was a false story that said there were special healing beds for everyone. The fake video looked like a news report. It showed President Trump saying that every American would get a medbed card. He later took the video down, but it showed he was willing to spread dangerous false information. The World Health Organization confirmed that such technology does not exist. President Trump's use of fake content is part of a larger plan to target his enemies. He has shared AI pictures of former President Obama being arrested. He has also posted fake videos of Democratic governors acting strangely or Nancy Pelosi confessing to crimes. These AI creations often do not say they are fake. This can make people believe they are real. This pattern goes beyond just individual people. President Trump has used AI to make fun of universities, news companies, and groups that work for civil rights. The White House's social media accounts have also shared these AI images, showing President Trump with crowns and Democratic leaders with sombreros. This shows a clear pattern of using AI-generated content to change how people see others and to promote a certain image of himself. This way of using technology makes it harder to know what is real and what is not. 4. A powerful president. American democracy was facing serious problems. Many experts were worried about its future. They saw President Donald Trump using his power in new and unusual ways. These actions made them question how strong the country's democratic system truly was. A group called Bright Line Watch, which studies democracy, reported that America's democracy had become much weaker. This was the biggest drop they had seen since they started measuring it. During his second time as president, Mr. Trump made big efforts to increase his own power. He also tried to make other parts of the government, which are supposed to keep the president in check, less powerful. For instance, he used government offices to investigate people who were against him. He directed agencies such as the Department of Justice, the Department of Homeland Security, and the IRS to look into his political rivals and groups he disliked. This was a clear change from how these important government bodies usually work, which is to be fair and not take political sides. Beyond investigating opponents, Mr. Trump also started a large program to send many people out of the country. He said it would be the largest in American history. As part of this, he sent National Guard troops to cities that were led by Democrats. He also used military forces for law enforcement inside the country. This was very different from how the United States usually handles things. People worried that using soldiers in this way was dangerous and went against the country's long-standing traditions and laws. They felt it showed a wish to control things too much. These strong actions by President Trump created a lot of concern. People saw him trying to centralize power in his own hands, almost like a monarch. This led to many protests across the country. The No Kings movement grew large because people felt the president was acting like a king, not a leader chosen by the people. They marched to show they were against his expansion of power and his attacks on democratic ways. They wanted to protect the United States Constitution and its promise of a government for and by the people. This widespread concern and resistance formed the background for the huge protests that swept across the nation. 5. How we think. Fake videos have a strong power over us. They often reach our emotions first, not our logic or facts. When we see something online that causes strong feelings, like anger or happiness, our minds usually react very quickly. This fast emotional response can make us believe something is true, even before we have time to think critically about it. Experts in communication say that these kinds of videos are made to get a quick reaction from people, rather than to share accurate information. What is interesting is that even if a person knows a video is fake, it can still change their mind. This happens because of a special effect on our brains called the illusory truth effect. If we see or hear the same fake information many times, our brains start to remember it. The more familiar something feels, the more likely we are to believe it is true, even if we knew it was false when we first saw it. This means that seeing fake content again and again can slowly shift what we think is real. Today, politics is starting to look a lot like internet memes. Memes are often short, funny, or shocking pictures and videos that spread very fast online. Political messages now often use these kinds of strong, simple images and clips. They are designed to create a big emotional response and to be shared widely by many people. Political teams use them because they know these easy-to-understand messages can influence many people very quickly. This growth of fake videos and meme-like political content makes it very hard for people to agree on basic facts. When important figures share artificial media without clear labels, it becomes difficult for everyone to know what is truly real. People start to build different ideas about the truth, living in their own realities. One group might strongly believe one thing, while another group believes the exact opposite, all based on different content they see online. This situation creates big problems for how a society works. It makes it hard for people to have meaningful conversations or make important decisions together. When a country's citizens cannot agree on what is fact, it can weaken trust and make it difficult for everyone to work towards common goals. This erosion of a shared reality is a significant challenge for modern democracy. 6. The people protests. The No Kings protests were very big and important. Many people across the country joined them. Organizers said that almost 7 million Americans marched in these events. There were more than 2,700 protests nationwide. These happened in large cities like New York and Washington, D.C., but also in many smaller towns. It was a huge show of public feeling, with people gathering to make their voices heard. The protests happened because people were worried about President Trump's actions. They believed he was using too much power. Many felt he was acting like a king, not like a leader chosen by the people. The movement's name, No Kings, clearly showed this concern. It was a direct response to what many saw as his efforts to expand his executive power and move away from democratic traditions. People who joined the protests were very creative in how they showed their message. They made many different signs. Some signs clearly stated, "I pledge allegiance, no king." This highlighted their desire to protect the country's foundational rules, the Constitution. Protesters also wore interesting costumes, sometimes dressing in clothes from the American Revolutionary War. Others carried large inflatable figures of President Trump, often shown wearing royal clothing, to symbolize their concern. Even with these imaginative and colorful elements, the protests carried a very serious message. People were not simply celebrating, they were actively speaking out about critical issues. They wanted to protect American democracy and its important institutions. They chanted slogans like, "This is what democracy looks like," emphasizing core American values rather than just specific political differences. The protests had a festival atmosphere, but it was always linked to a deep, serious commitment. Groups like the American Civil Liberties Union and other local community organizations worked together to organize these massive gatherings. Their coordination ensured the protests were well-planned and peaceful. This widespread organization showed that many people were uniting to resist what they saw as threats to their country. The level of protest activity was much higher than during President Trump's first time in office. This growing resistance showed that people were serious about protecting their country's democratic way of life and ensuring that power remains with the people, not concentrated in one person. 7. A big problem for everyone. AI brings a big problem for democracy. Fake videos and pictures made with AI make it hard for people to know what is real. This makes it difficult to have a shared understanding of facts, which is important for a country where people choose their leaders. When President Trump shares fake content, it blurs the line between truth and lies for many citizens. Making new laws to stop fake AI videos is not easy. Many ideas for laws try to control manipulated media, but they also risk stopping people from speaking freely. It is hard to write rules that stop bad things without stopping good things, like satire. These laws can be hard to use and often face legal challenges, making it tough to balance free speech with the need for truth in public discussion. Social media companies also have a hard time. Platforms like YouTube and Meta try to put labels on AI-made content, but they don't always do it consistently. Companies must decide between stopping wrong information and letting people speak freely. Users often complain if platforms remove content, saying they are unfair or biased. For instance, President Trump's platform, Truth Social, has no clear rules for AI content, so users might not know what they are seeing is fake. Journalists who report the news also face problems. When presidents use AI in unusual ways, it can seem normal if news reports focus on the spectacle, not the real danger. It is hard for reporters to check all the facts when so many fake things appear online. When President Trump shares fake videos, it's not just about believing it literally. It's also about the message it sends about how a president should act and what is acceptable in politics, creating a challenge for news teams. The biggest issue is that AI technology is changing very quickly. The tools that make fake videos and images are getting better and easier to use all the time. Anyone with internet access can now create highly believable fakes. But the rules and ways to control them are much slower to develop. This speed difference means new dangers from AI often appear before anyone can make laws or clear guidelines. Technology always runs faster than the rules, leaving governments and society behind in the fight for truth. 8. What happens next? The King Trump video became a clear sign of a larger struggle. It showed how dangerous it is when artificial intelligence, or AI, is used in politics. This story is not only about President Donald Trump. It is also about the future of truth itself. When leaders use fake videos to attack others and make themselves look like kings, it changes how people see reality. Experts are worried about democracy in America. They see actions that remind them of leaders in other countries who take away people's power. Yet there is also hope. The huge No Kings protests showed that many people care deeply about protecting democracy. Millions of Americans marched to stand up for their country's rules and freedom, showing great strength. The fast growth of AI tools means these challenges will not go away. In fact, they will become harder to handle. It is difficult for normal people to know what is real and what is fake. This makes it hard to agree on important facts. Our laws are not fully ready for these new problems. Social media companies also struggle to decide what content to allow on their platforms. The future of democracy depends on many things. Can our government and laws stay strong against these new attacks? Can people learn to tell the truth from lies when there is so much fake content? Will everyone still agree on basic facts? The answers to these questions will decide how America's democracy will look in the years to come, and how similar struggles might affect other countries. This period is a big test for everyone. The King Trump video was not just a joke or a simple trick. It was a warning sign. It showed a path towards a future where leaders might control what people believe using new technology. But the protests also showed that people want to fight for their rights and for truth. What do you think will happen next for truth and democracy in America?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.